And Green Hub East Africa is a Ugandan e-mobility company. It's co-founded by Nexus Green and Motorcare, two companies who already have shown their strong commitment to investing in Uganda.
This project is going to climate-proof one of the areas that we have in our nationally determined contribution, which is a commitment to reduce emission as far as government of Uganda is concerned.
New investment streams will be unlocked to ensure Uganda is positioned as the leader and champion of green jobs, innovation, and EV transition across the continent of Africa.
We really want to make Uganda a net source of solutions. This is the focus, this is the drive.
Today, half a lot of these boda drivers are in the informal sector. They don't pay taxes, they are not registered, they don't have a driving license, and we want to transform them by training two smart girls to have a driving license, to know how to operate the vehicle.
There's new demand for electricity. This means the country is motivated and pushed to install cleaner power for powering these vehicles.
For every e-boda on the road, we want to take one polluting boda out and create a sustainable waste management systems where new innovations for second life value are created.
Now the goal is to make the nation a net source of technology and solutions.
One of the things we do through the Climate Finance Unit is look across the region, find out where the best practice is, see what we can bring here.
All stakeholders today know that doing nothing is not an option.
Total Energy is looking into availing better energy to their customers, and we are constructing and developing infrastructure for the different modes of electrified transport.
Let's all go green. E-mobility is the way to go. Green Hub, please coordinate us and let it happen for God and my country.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. And today we're hosting the Green Hub Consortium Retreat 2024, where we are bringing together Government of Uganda, banks, private stakeholders, civil society and academia to together establish a roadmap to accelerate Uganda's EV transition. We at Green Hub are looking to invest $500 million into the acceleration of Uganda's EV transition. But this is not something that we can do on our own. That's why we brought all these stakeholders together here today to see how do we do this together and find a joint roadmap, joint commitments to really accelerate this transition.
The purposes of the next 2 days are to develop a cohesive, coordinated and work-focused strategy with input and discussion from all stakeholders present here. These discussions will enable all stakeholders to work towards agreed commitments that will allow us, through the Green Hub East Africa, to start the formal process to develop a strategic framework that will be transformational for the people of Uganda.
The components that the Baroness mentioned clearly leaves no one behind. And these are the pillars that we fought for from Glasgow through Sharm el-Sheikh, and now it is beginning to bear fruits based on the COP that we had in Egypt. This project is going to climate-proof one of the areas that we have in our nationally determined contribution, which is a commitment to reduce emission as far as government of Uganda is concerned.
I appreciate the organizers of this retreat, and I think at the end of the day, we should go with something tangible. We should give ourselves enough assignment.
As the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, we were given the responsibility to make sure that there is focus on science. And when you have science-led modernization of the economy, then you are able to focus on all those things, because science-led socioeconomic transformation embraces all this, including ensuring environmental sustainability.
Through the agreed timeframes, add support to His Excellency President Museveni's global climate change commitments of working towards net zero by 2050. A detailed framework will illustrate the benefits of an accelerated EV transition program, and new investment streams will be unlocked to ensure Uganda is positioned as the leader and champion of green jobs, innovation, and EV transition across the continent of Africa.
Uganda's young and rapidly growing population holds immense potential for the human capital ready to drive the change. Uganda is uniquely positioned to lead the e-mobility transition. Uganda boasts one of the world's greenest grids, and with the surplus of energy, this can be used to catalyze an e-mobility transition.
All stakeholders today know that doing nothing is not an option. His Excellency President Museveni has set out a clear vision of what he wants to see over the next 4 to 5 years for Uganda's economic growth, greater self-reliance on homegrown clean energy, and to develop the skills of the Ugandan population. The Green Hub East Africa addresses these visions and creates many more. All stakeholders have demonstrated they have a commitment to becoming part of this incredible program for transformation. And we seek your input to formulate a strategic framework.
As the Minister of Water and Environment, we have very useful experience we have had, especially with Nexus Green, and the program they're actually implementing in Uganda is transformative and is very impactful in terms of water supply and irrigation. And I believe this particular project is actually also going to have the same impact.
We have a goal to make Uganda the largest e-mobility manufacturer in Africa. And over the next 5 years, we're looking to invest over $500 million into accelerating Uganda's e-mobility transition by introducing 200,000 electric bodas onto the roads, and by doing so, create over 250,000 green jobs.
Internationally, I'm proud to share that TVS is actually present across 80 markets globally. There are only 2 automobile OEMs from India that actually are present at this scale globally, which is TVS, and the second one is Bajaj.
It is estimated that by 2030, there will be at least 24 million new jobs globally in the green sector. We will see investment of up to US $500 million over the next 5 years, with a conservative potential of attracting a further $60 million US of green investment funding to accelerate the green transition.
Uganda is already on the transition. We're not kickstarting, but we are only accelerating this very needed transition on the continent. And finally, there's new demand for electricity. This means the country is motivated and pushed to install cleaner power for powering these vehicles. We're only talking about 5%. The commitments that have been made are to transition 100% by 2030. Imagine what this would look like if we are to scale up the impact by 20 times.
The global concern is that all efforts should be made to calm the emissions. If we don't do anything about it, we are to blame.
This transition to e-mobility opens a door that was fully closed before. We really want to make Uganda a net source of solutions. This is the focus, this is the drive. Now the goal is to make the nation a net source of technology and solutions.
This is a great opportunity to set what I think going forward will be the transformational change that others will look to see how they, in their own countries, will follow the lead that Uganda takes.
Ma'am, I welcome you to the Pearl of Africa. And we appreciate you standing with us as a government, as a people of Uganda. And I think we are in a common destination. You look outside the beauty, we must conserve it. Let's all go green. e-mobility is the way to go. Green Hub, please coordinate us and let it happen for God and my country.
This brings us to the next panel discussion, or the first panel discussion, which is going to be hosted by Baroness Verma.
At this point, it's going to be a 30-minute discussion. And what we're going to try and focus on from each of our honourable panellists is to be able to get a 5-minute snapshot of how they see how Uganda can accelerate, unlock investments for their EV transition.
As a government, we are already working towards ensuring that we are already compliant, because we have already nationally determined commitment as a country, and all those will come in easy.
For me, as the sector that is charged with coordinating e-mobility, we have an interministerial committee in place, high-level technical people, and these people put together the consortium, which brings together over 80 sector players in 6 subsectors. We have a strategy, a long-term strategy, already approved by the interministerial committee.
One of the things we are consistently doing is seeing that the network in metropolitan areas where we envisage people to actually be charging their motorbikes and using electricity is significantly strengthened. And a lot of investment has actually gone into that, to see that not only you have reliable electricity, but you also have quality electricity.
The regulators here in Uganda are more than capable and have shown their capability of stepping in and adjusting to make sure you achieve what you want to achieve. One of the reasons we're here having this conversation is the success of Uganda's electricity sector. Whether it is on e-mobility, whether it is on broader climate finance, whether it is in bringing investment in. If I talk to my British companies, they want certainty, they want a policy, even if it's not perfect, they want it now.
We support on policy, where we coordinate government agencies and our one-stop center and draw opinions from the investors to make sure that the environment is conducive for them to do business and grow.
I look at this e-mobility, it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We are going to conserve, we are going to reduce emissions, and I think it's a good ground for us. But above all, for me, it gives me more confidence that it will work well for us and is implementable, because there's a huge political will.
As the British government, we're here to help with technical assistance, we're here to help to mobilise that financing, we're here to help with that donor coordination. And really, time now is of the essence.
Thank you very much for an amazing panel, which we have learnt a lot from.
We don't believe in a financial product. We believe in a full maintenance lease program where the swapping, the service, the training, the recycling of the bike, the old bike, the funding of the new bike, the insurances, all these things are embedded in a daily pay.
Green Hub had made some commitments in the inception on how they will handle the internal combustion engine motorcycles that will be replaced. So it's something we need to dig deeper in and also understand what regulations we need to put in place, what infrastructure we need to invest in, what the plan is in that area. And the other cluster that will be critical is also on the cluster on financing, so that we can see how we can get the ecosystem more bankable for commercial banks to pick appetite within the industry.
So I'm thinking about an e-platform for transactions whereby people can be able to access information but also identify maybe suppliers of materials, financing, easy to navigate, such that if I need any service and to eliminate also fake or non-authorized people, because when you are on that e-platform, you're either accredited and we keep analyzing whatever you are doing in the e-mobility platform. Thank you.
When we build the next viable digital solution, we'll of course use some of those data points which are important to collect information that you qualify without having to do physical audits on your carbon credits, but can use digitalized inputs for it.
Under Smart Girls, we run the MTN Girls with Tools that trains young women in male-dominated STEM skill sets like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. And now with partnership, we are trying to get them trying to set up with Green Hub an e-mobility academy. When it comes to e-mobility, it's the certification is really missing. So the gap, talking to the Ministry of STI, they're actually trying to develop a needs assessment so that they can develop a curriculum and feed the government to develop accreditation that will help in certifying the manpower who are in skilling and training for these technicians can help with that field.
Once the curriculum is developed and we've identified a number of different garages that we think can be certified if they meet the requirements, and if standards are set, I believe Ministry of Works can play a very important role in that aspect. For KCCA, we look at mobilization, especially for women. There are good coordination aspects in their organization, as well as supporting skilling and access to regulatory permits and requirements for many of these businesses to operate.
I do believe consumer protection is also key in all of this, as this is a new space. So it will be good for end users to also understand the nitty-gritties about the technology, given the fact that for e-vehicles, the center of gravity is quite low, so that means that the tires are quite different for such vehicles. So understanding the nitty-gritties about the technology would be key.
Total Energy is looking into availing better energy to their customers, and we are looking into constructing and developing infrastructure for the different modes of electrified transport in Uganda. We have a list of potential hotspots. These are locations where we can quickly deploy electric vehicle supply equipment, either for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or four-wheelers. And one of the key things we are going to do is to do joint visits with the teams from Total Energies so that we are able to identify which ones can already start the construction, which ones will take a bit of time.
We are thinking of daily micro paybacks, and MTN has a platform we can tap into which can enable that. When we want to give loan, how do we score the credibility of a given rider?
In our attempt to streamline motorcycles in Kampala, we found that there was a need to track all the bikes. Security wants to have information on all that, on all the tracking, so that they can follow up for wrongdoers. Now there is a cost implication to that, one. Number two, there is a need for a policy. Group one, there is a need for a policy that all, and again this is for TVS, are the bikes going to come tracked? There was even a proposal that when the bikes are assembled, the truck is in there and none or the driver can't access it.
This is an ecosystem, and this is why it requires a partnership with government. It requires a very strong commercial consortium to do all of these things that we like to do for the owner of the boda. So in the center of this is the vehicle that the rider, the boda owner, is going to use. But we also talked about there's a passenger, and there is also a third party in traffic as well. So if you need to look at this is the environment we are working in and what they're going to do. And the landscape is a little bit like a compass. You today have a lot of these boda drivers are in the informal sector. They don't pay taxes. They are not registered. They don't have a driving license. And we want to transform them by training true smart girls to have a driving license, to know how to operate the vehicle, to know how to do preventive maintenance, and to bring them into the formal sector.
Green Hub has been wanted to lead by example, as a private stakeholder to act and not wait for someone else to act. So even though we are in very early stages of our pilot, we decided that we want to showcase, have something that symbolizes our partnerships so far. And one of our great partnerships so far is with Smart Girls, that we are very happy to have on board, where we're going to create the e-mobility academy together with them, and to really train women both to become EV mechanics in that field, but also to become e-boda riders. So we have, for all of you leaving today, we have a gift to all of you. It symbolizes partnership, waste management, and also green energy. If everyone can see that there's a solar panel here in the middle, so you can use to charge your phone or to use as a reading light, as it has a light inside it. So if you live somewhere where you don't have electricity and you need to do your homework at night, you can take this one out as a reading light to do your homework. And these has been designed and developed by the young girls and women that are being trained at Smart Girls. So this is their innovation, and this is to showcase what happens when you invest in youth. They bring you innovation and new products.
I would like to say a big thank you to Green Hub Motorcare for when they came at our skills center. They were excited by our project. We make these bags because we wanted to show the community that these waste are thrown a lot in the stream areas. So I'm sure you recognize them, the sacks of sugar sacks. And we just need to make the bag waterproof and add a solar panel that actually, when you move it in here, the light is not just a light bulb. It actually acts as a power bank. You can put your USB to be able to charge whatever you want to charge. The girls that make these bags are the bags that we skill at our MTN Girls with Tools Skills Center. Each bag we sell. So the money for buying these bags that Nexus Green and Green Hub has bought from us is actually helping us make another bag we are giving out for free. Please help me give a huge hand clap to Green Hub, to Motorcare, to Nexus Green for supporting our girls, to MTN that built for us the skills center, to the extent we are helping while giving back to the environment.
What I would like you to do is, when you get this back and you go back home, and you go into your company or you go into your organization, your office, bring this back and tell the story that Jamila just told. That we're able to do things which are smart and which can be used. And when I saw this in November the first time, I said to Jamila, I'm going to buy that one. And she said, no, I'm going to use this for presentation this afternoon, but when you're back in January, it's your bag. So, Jamila, thank you very much for your innovation about this. The anthill philosophy that we are much stronger than we think, and the humbleness of understanding that the skills are already there when we need to scale up, I think is giving me so much energy about whatever we're doing here. So, Smart Girls and MTN for supporting them and showing us out to them in the way. We have just recruited the two first from Smart Girl in our workshop, and I know they're doing fantastically down there as well. From Green Hub's point, we wish everybody well. So we don't have a kind of a comfortable stake on this and an emperor role on this. We believe that it's going to be many solutions which will combine, that the rivers will flow. Oscar, Felix, Moa, you are our first 3 key employees in Green Hub East Africa. And my brother Ricky and me, we're very proud of you, and we learn a lot from you. And we have a lot of shared passion and vision about what we do. I wish you all a fantastic afternoon, safe travel to wherever your destination will be.
I hope you'll continue to follow our journey, where Green Hub will make green vehicles and green bodas the most affordable, accessible, and the safest transport option in Kampala and throughout the country. And not just for men, but for women too. And I hope that you'll all continue to follow our journey, where we make green transport solutions the safest, most accessible, and the most affordable transport solution for everyone. Not just for men, but for women too. And not just in Kampala, but throughout the entire country. So make sure to follow, share, and like our videos.